Good. When you're ready, just get comfortable. Find your best starting, lovely tall position. Soft through the knees and with your little spaces under your feet, but really well grounded. Start thinking about your engagement through your centre, so you're long with your tailbone gently magneting down to the mat behind you, your pelvic floor with its 30% effort. And we'll start just with some shoulder rolls in a backward direction. So just draw them up to your shoulders first, nice big shrug, open them through their fronts, and then slide your shoulder blades down your back. And we'll go up and back and round. Good. Keep your chin gently tucked in, keep the crown of the head really growing tall. So the back of the neck stays long. Last couple. Good. Settle those shoulder blades back down. Stay nice and open through the front of your chest, or you float your arms up to shoulder height. Breath in. And then out breath, open wide. Send the centre of your chest up to the ceiling. So that goes up, tailbone stays down. And lower. And again, start with, so we're moving on the out breath as we open up. In breath down. For a couple more, and then we'll try taking a breath in that extended position. So this time, out breath up, stay there, have a breath in, deepening that stretch, and then come down. For one more, out breath up. And lower. Good. And we'll take it straight into some mermaids. So in breath, your arm up your side. Keep the shoulder top down as you reach towards the ceiling. Little bend in the knees. Side bend over and have a breath in there. Out breath back up. Good. Other side. In breath, the arm up. Shoulder blades up. Stays down. Try and keep the weight equal through both feet when you're side bending. Out breath back up. Good. And on this next one, we're going to stay over in that side bend. So support with your hand if you need to, but get as much support from here as you can. And then start your circles around with that hand. Watching your hand go around in its biggest circles. From the shoulder joint, but try now really join in with your upper back. The centre of your chest is facing the mat, and then it's facing up towards the ceiling as you come round. Let's reverse the circles for a couple. Try and stay over in your side bend at the waist though. And after this one, come back up. Good. And we'll go to the other side, in breath up. Little bend, out breath into the side. And start your circles. The fingertips are drawing circles, but we're really thinking about getting movement into the upper back and chest area, while the pelvis stays nice and still with the weight equal between both feet. After this one, reverse the circles. And watching that hand go around in the opposite direction for a couple. And when the arm is overhead, come back up. Lovely. Okay, let's just take it into a little balance onto tiptoes. We'll do some walking before we come down to the mat. So into a balance. Good. Length all the way through. And out breath the heel down. Back up, other heel. Good. Just lifting from the shoulders, the weight of the arms, keep the shoulder tops down. Take it as quick as you like, as long as you can maintain good form. You feel nicely warmed up through the whole body, hopefully, ready to start on that work. Good, as quick as you like, straight up and down with the pelvis. Last couple, see if you can finish on tiptoes though. Finish with control, in a balance. And lower. Good. Come down to that then. A little bit closer. All right, give yourself a head support. Maybe keep a larger one handy, but we'll start with hip twist. So we're going to start with the feet together, the hip twist, but keep them a couple of distance from your bottom. Bring your arms out to shoulder height. Arms up. Feel for your shoulder blades. Make sure they're behind your upper back and your shoulders are away from your ears. Lengthen the back of your neck. You're in neutral spine, center engaged. Your breath in. And then out to roll the knees over. So continuing to work on spinal range of movement. Let those knees drop over with one foot on top of the other. Look towards your opposite hand for a breath. And then out breath, lift the weight of the knees back up and over. Good. So alternating sides, working with each out breath or moving on each out breath. Staying for a breath in to deepen the stretch. Use your center, use the strength here as you lift the weight of the legs back up and over. Keep working in your own time. Good. One more to each side. Try and keep that opposite shoulder blade down on the mat. And all the way back. Lovely. Bringing your feet back to hip width. Check you're still in neutral. If you want to use that larger head support, you can put it between your knees because we're going to try coming up into tabletop if you're okay to for hundreds. So our main static strength exercise. Still bring the legs up one at a time. Even if you're using that support, just hold it, pop it in, give it a squeeze. So your inner thighs are working. They'll encourage your pelvic floor, but consciously switch it on there. Good. And then out breath your arms up beside you and start them pulsing. All right, those little movements from the shoulder joints. Try and keep the upper body soft. If we're tense anywhere, it's tense in the inner thighs, squeeze them onto that block and your pelvic floor where you're lifting as if controlling your bladder. Keep your breathing nice and steady. If you really like to bring your head and shoulders up off the mat, you can, but I'm going to keep them down. I want to focus on really improving your upper back, which feeds into your neck, posture and position, and how you feel in your neck and upper back this evening. So let's not tempt straining it by bringing it up off the mat. As long as you feel like you're working nice and hard here by maintaining your neutral spine, squeezing in on that block, keeping your knees over your hips. Your breath is opening out into your side ribs, gently blowing it out of your mouth. Last few. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. Legs back down to the mat. Okay, so if you want to use your weights for overhead arms, you can. If you've got small weights and you want to use them, you'll work harder in your core, in your center to control as your arms come up and over. Or just the weight of the arms. Out breath them up to point towards the ceiling. And then the next out breath, lower them overhead. All right, let's stretch into those shoulder joints. Hopefully they're a bit warmed up from our exercises in standing. In breath back. They might take a couple of goes to really get your full range without your rib cage lifting. So focus on the shoulders. Or another one. And then when you're ready, sliding a heel away. In breath back. All right, both arms, one heel slides. You're maintaining neutral spine, so stillness through the center of the body. Your ribs are connected. Good. Working with your breath. Lovely, opening out the front of the hips. Last one here for our first set. And then we'll rest the arms down. Ready for the second set. And you choose if you want to come up into tabletop again. Sure you will. There you are in your 90-90 position, still in neutral, lovely and flat. Out breath the arms back up to start position, and then out breath them overhead. All right, for at least a couple, just while you get used to maintaining a really solid tabletop position. And then you can start pushing away with the alternate feet. Really try and focus in on keeping that pelvic floor active as you breathe out and you push the foot away. Good, and keep going if you can. If you need to go back to sliding the feet on the mat, that's fine. Try and keep going with this set. Either way. That lowest tummy is just continuing to draw back to the spine, not doming, staying flat. One more to each leg. And then lower your arms and lower the feet. Good. Okay, we are going to do shoulder bridge, but before we do, let's come back to our hundreds and do another set. Put your little support between your knees if you want to squeeze in on that, or keep them parallel if you want to not use it. Okay, so you're squeezing in, still in neutral, pelvic floor engaged, out breath the arms up and pulse them. This is our strength exercise where a lot of our others are focusing on movement today. So pulsing from the shoulders, maintaining stillness through the center of the body. With that little squeeze in on your block as you breathe in. It's through your nose and your ribs are opening to the sides. Breathe out, gently blow it. Good, last few. I'll count you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Great, pop that to the side for now. Also pop your head support out so that we can come on to shoulder bridging. Let's bring the heels a bit closer to the bottom. Make sure you're still in neutral there. Arms alongside, or if you want to, you can go straight in with them across your chest if you want to do that instead. That will challenge you as you come on up, to come on up nice and level without the support from the mat beside you. Feeling your way up through your upper back. Feels a bit different when your shoulder blades are out of the way. Breath in at the top. Out breath, replace your spine level by level as you go down. Tip back and peel up. Lovely. Okay, really work into those glutes with the weight through your heels. If you want to add to this, we're going to try some overhead arms. So with the fingertips pointing towards the ceiling on the next couple, tip back and peel up and away. When you get to the top there, take the arms overhead. See if they'll touch down, back to the ceiling and replace the spine. All right, so you can just keep really focusing on upper back work if you want to, but if you want to have a work on challenging your glutes, you could, while you're here, try either just raising alternate heels, get the switching on and off of alternate sides, or even come into a one-leg bridge. Be careful without your arms supporting alongside you, you're putting a lot more demand on your lower body. So if you feel your hamstrings suddenly really kicking in, then it might be too much. You could put your arms down, or you could just focus on your overhead arms instead. You can do a few, then take your arms over, bring them back, and replace your spine. So we're doing a real combination using our shoulder bridge to work here on glutes. Big challenge to keep the pelvis level, work in the glutes. Take the arms over. And back down. We'll do a final one where we leave the arms on the mat. See if you can replace the spine with your overhead arms. So once you're up there, trying the extension to both sides if you're doing that. Then take the arms overhead and see if you can peel your way back down. All the way to neutral. Out breath, pelvic floor engaged, bring the arms over. Well done. Let's come onto our sides. All right, starting with clam. So I think last week we really tried to come towards your level 3. So if you're ready for it and you did it within the last couple of weeks, then just go for it again. Lower leg out straight, upper leg resting on your block in front, or stay with level 2, up to you. But shoulders, hips and heels in line for that. Heels together, long waist on both sides. Out breath the knee up. In breath down. Good. So last couple for this set. We will do a second set. It's our only hip strength exercise following that bridge that we're going to do. So lower and rest your ankles. And we'll do a set with the knee extension, or if you didn't on that set, try level 3, you could try it this time instead. I'll give you both options. All right, back into start position. Out breathing up, knee stays high, hip lovely and open while you straighten it out. And then back to down. All right, so there you go, there's one option. Keep going there if you want to use that one. Or straighten that lower leg. Long, but with the top one bent and resting. You out breath from here. Good, last two. Whichever ones you're doing. Finish up with this one. And rest. Okay, good. So you might want to grab your weight if you want to use it for your arm openings. Coming back into both knees bent, hips, shoulders and heels in line. Your larger head support so that you can take your arms out in front. Shoulders away from the ears. Back with that chest, but keep the hip forward and the knees down. Breathe in at the top. And out, breath back. And the hand weight, how much extra work you can really demand of your core and your central control. Center of chest to the ceiling, breathe in while you're looking up there. So don't forget there's the other version if you like to do it. Past the hip to the start position and go straight into the next one. Out breath, that's that semicircle at the top. And in breath, the bottom half. One more of whichever one you're doing. And then rest. Great. Okay, we'll have a sit up. We'll do some and we'll start with the arms low, work our way up through the spine. But just try and make sure that your head is really grown tall as you start, and you keep it tall. So as you twist,
You've frozen for me. Oh, you're back.
Did you lose me?
You've frozen a few times, but you're back now.
Great. Okay, so back to twists. So I was just saying to remember to try and spiral up or keep the length. Don't collapse as you twist. So your center's engaged, arms here, and as you breathe out, twist. Breathe in a stretch. And then back. We'll do a couple to each side with the arms low. Good. Excuse me. And when you have completed a couple to each side, bring the arms up to your shoulder height for a couple. Shoulders down though, shoulder tops down. They're away from your ears. Creeping up. Keep the shoulder blades working down your back. Good. And then for the last two, fingertips to your temples, shoulders down, elbows high. Hopefully feeling it even higher up that upper back, up towards the base of your neck. and back. And while we're here, we'll do a couple of mermaids in sitting, which you can stay in cross-legged if you're better like that, or if you can do the mermaid position with one leg wrapped around behind you and still get your sitting bones down to the mat, you can do it like this. Okay, so we're going to come up with one arm, just like we did the ones in standing, but this time trying to ground down through both sitting bones so the pelvis stays level. Not too much weight on that arm you're resting on. Try and use this while you breathe in. And out, breath back. Good, other side. Okay, so cross the legs the other way or switch them to the other way for our last two. Brilliant. And we'll come down to the other side to do our hips to start with, and then our arm openings. So have your bigger support ready. But use your small one to lie down. For first set of clam, your choice, level 2 or 3. When you're in position, you can start whenever you're ready. Just really make sure you keep that top hip forward as if it's shining slightly towards the floor in front of you. So as the knee comes up, it comes up and back, squeezing into your back pocket, and then in breath, lower. Good, last two for this set. And rest all the way back down. While you decide what you want to do for the second set. So either the knee extensions, you really want to go for it, you can do the knee extensions at level 3. If you'd already progressed to level 3 and you want to add it in, it's up to you. Once you're ready, once you've had a little rest, start that second set. So you'd be here with the knee high and extend it. Nice stretch for that inner thigh that you were working earlier in your hundreds. With the knee high, hip open, and then straightening it out. All on the out breath, so that your in breath bends your knee and brings it back down with control. Last two of whatever version you're doing. Make these the last couple. And rest. Good. And you're positioning yourself, grabbing that weight if you want to use it for your arm openings. The hands are out in front, resting your head near the front of the block. Shoulders away from your ears. Hips are well stacked with the top one nicely forward, knees down. And then out breath to move. Dropping the back ribs to the mat behind you, center of the chest up to the ceiling. Breathe in to stretch. Pelvic floors engaged as you come back up and over. Last couple. And all the way back. Okay, so we're going to take it over onto our tummy. Actually, you don't need your head support because you can rest your head on your hands, can't you, for your swan dive. So we'll start off with just trying to take the forehead off the hands. And then if you want to progress to your level 2, it's a big progression. But if you can, you're going to hover the hands and the forearms as well, but just get used to getting the extension into the upper back first by lifting the forehead off your hands. Take your time positioning first, shoulders away from your ears, gentle chin tuck like you're holding a peach under your chin, and your tailbone is tucked between your legs but without clenching your glutes. So try and use your pelvic floor instead, support from inside the pelvis. Then when you're ready, out breath to lift the forehead up. So you're hovering as high as you can by creating all the movement between your shoulder blades. And then lower. You're trying to have your breath in while you hold the forehead up. You're here while you breathe into those lower ribs, opening them out to the sides. And then down. But if you want to, like I said, breath, you can hover the arms and hands as well. So don't worry if you don't come as high, just try and make sure that all the height you do get is coming from a lift in your upper back, shoulder blade area of the back. And you're not dipping into your low back or lifting your chin any further off your chest. So the back of the neck stays long. If it's a little bit too much, you could do sort of a level 1.5, where you just float up with one hand, leave one on the mat, still try and come up quite symmetrical. But alternate which hand comes up with your head. Trying to still keep the glutes soft, don't let your legs float up off the mat. Last couple, whichever version you're doing. And then rest. Okay, have a push up into 4-point. We're going to do a strength exercise here. We'll do some swimming for here. So find good position where your shoulders are over your hands, hips over knees, shoulders away from your ears, long back of your neck. Try and just draw up through that pelvic floor before you start. And then out breath, arm and leg away. In breath back. So you're pushing your fingertips forward and your toes back in opposite directions, trying to keep the pelvis level and without changing the curve in your low back. Lovely. Keep going if you can, alternating sides. Out breath away. In breath back. One more to each side. and then rest. We're going to grab that small head support, come down onto our tummies one more time for breaststroke. And if you want to, you can use your small weights. You're going to bring your arms alongside your body here. So rest your forehead. Length between the crown of the head and your tailbone. Shoulders just drop forward, relax forward to start with. While you breathe in. And then out breath, open them up and hover the arms. You're there. Having your breath in. And then lower. If you've got weights in your hands, this may well be enough, just hovering those arms up and drawing your shoulder blades down into your pockets, keeping length through the whole spine. But you might, if not, want to add to this your forehead hover. So use what you gained with your swan dive, get that upper back extension, get your forehead off the block while you breathe in. And then lower. Again, legs should be heavy on the mat, glutes should be soft. We're looking for strength from inside the pelvis. And of course, the upper back for that extension. Last one. And rest. Have a push back again, that's your strength practice done. We're going to do some cat stretches here. You're back into that same position, but this time for mobility. So have a breath before you tip forward with the pelvis, dip into your back. Try looking forward while you breathe in. And as you breathe out, tuck your tailbone under. Start drawing the center of your back up to the ceiling. Look between your thighs while you breathe in now. And reverse. Just back to neutral here. To come into some twists. On your out breath, this time take the weight onto one hand so you can slide the other one underneath. You can keep it lovely and low, actually in contact with the floor if you want to lower all the way down into a sustained stretch and stay for a couple of breaths. Or you can do the reaching through and just repeating to the other side. Up to you. See whether you want to stay in that stretch or if you want to alternate sides for a breath each time. By sustaining the stretch, you can get a lovely stretch between the shoulder blades. If you can really rest down and also the back of the shoulder joint. Make sure you use an out breath as you push your way back up again. And finish with this. Make this the last one, whichever type you're doing. And breath back up. Good. And come over into sitting. Actually, we'll finish in standing. We'll finish with our upper back cool down stretch in standing. So I'll just adjust this again. Yeah, that's right. With your hands linked down in front of you. comfortable. Look down at them. Feel a stretch at the back of the neck. Gently tucked there. Out breath the arms up to shoulder height, but keep looking down between your feet. And then you can push the backs of the hands away and take a breath in. Now out breath up. Watch your hands going overhead. Good. Push them up towards the ceiling. Breathing in at the top. Bring them all the way around so that you can link them behind your bottom. Press the backs of the hands down to the mat. And breathe in. And then lift them up from your bottom. Good. We'll do it again. This time, if you're okay to, you can press the hands away. If your shoulders are all right. So bring them up to shoulder height to start with. Stay like this or turn them over so the palms push away while you have your breath in. Lift them up to the ceiling. So either the backs of the hands or the palms are now pressing towards the ceiling while you breathe in. Breath them around. Good, link them behind your bottom. Press them away. Just down to start with. And then lift them up for your last breath in here. And release. So you can leave the hands linked or you can just relax them alongside. Lengthen the back of your neck. And we'll just try taking an ear over to the shoulder. So if it's too strong on your neck, your shoulder, or down your arm, or if you feel any pins and needles or neural discomfort, then definitely unlink your hands. Back up. And we'll go to the other side, so ear to shoulder. And back to center. Good. Well done. Sorry for the glitch in the middle.